This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Since I've been serving, I do more town halls probably than any other member of Congress. I was out of town, otherwise I probably would have done a town hall by now, but we're going to have one in the near future. I know there's a lot of passion, so people have the right to express themselves, and I'm going to be there to listen.
Out of patience. Some Suncoast voters aren't in the mood for excuses. Congressman Vern Buchanan's office has become the site of protests. Why? People want their elected officials to hear their concerns. Buchanan isn't alone. Spirited town halls and demonstrations are taking place across the country. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. We'll have more on town hall backlash coming up, but first, our top 7 stories at 7, and we begin in Englewood, where Republican Congressman Tom Rooney is responding to pressure from protesters and holding his first town hall meeting in Sarasota County. Rooney represents the Suncoast south of Clark Road. Voters asked him about Obamacare, Social Security, and even called for President Trump to be impeached. Rooney defended the president, asking his constituents to give him a chance.
Making sure that all parties are heard in this political season that we have.
It's a pretty big constituency, but I hope he listens to all of us who are concerned about the health of the democracy.
Congressman Rooney's office says he was impressed with the large turnout. Sarasota City Commission is meeting tonight to talk about, among other things, medical marijuana. Commissioners are discussing possible zoning rules for dispensaries and clinics. Sarasota Police Captain is leading a group focused on the issue. The state is still creating regulations for medical marijuana, but the city wants to be ahead of the game. We'll have details on the commission meeting coming up tonight at 11. The standoff between Chief Judge Charles Williams and Sarasota Sheriff Tom Knight over guns in the county courthouse will now go to an appellate court. The sheriff's office is refusing to obey an order by Williams to resume screening for the public for weapons in non-courtroom facilities. The sheriff says people have the constitutional right to carry concealed weapons in most parts of the building, and that the screening for weapons at the entrance could violate those rights. The Chief Justice says the sheriff's office is obligated to provide security.
Chapter 790.06, which is the concealed weapons carry statute, says you cannot carry in a courtroom or a courthouse. Doesn't say anything about court facilities, so we have a difference of opinion on the definition.
Chief Judge Williams released a statement today saying, quote, "The 12th Circuit Court respects the right of the sheriff to take this action and will let the matter take its legal proper course." More than a dozen high school baseball players at a Bradenton private school are being suspended for hazing. The Inspiration Academy students are facing a 1 to 3 game suspension after forcing fellow players to participate in impossible sit-ups. Some players were pinned down, blindfolded, and forced to sit up face first into another player's backside. The founder of the independent Christian school says this should be a learning experience.
And so we wanted to mentor each of these students and coach them through what the right response is and to correct the behavior and to deal with the consequences that happen with bad behavior.
The first game suspension was last Friday, and the last will be this Wednesday. A follow-up on a deadly plane crash in Manatee County Saturday. Investigators are working to identify the pilot and passenger. The Manatee Sheriff's Office says the single-engine plane took off from Sarasota Bradenton International Airport and crashed near DeWitt in the eastern Manatee County. The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating the crash. A preliminary report will be released in a few weeks. We are learning more tonight about a deadly 3-car accident in Sarasota County that left 3 people dead and 2 injured. It happened on I-75 near Toledo Blade Boulevard around 5 o'clock Sunday morning. A semi-truck used to transport cars was pulled over on the shoulder when 23-year-old Nathaniel Perkins crashed into it. His car slid into the roadway, hitting other vehicles. Perkins, along with passenger Janisha Gadsden, was pronounced dead at the scene. The truck driver, Eric Shabak, was also killed, and the investigation by the Florida Highway Patrol continues. Wildfire season is here, and Sarasota County is asking the public to take preparations. It has been an active year so far, with 15 fires breaking out across the Suncoast last month, burning more than 1,000 acres. One of the primary factors fueling the fires is the dry weather, which is why the county recommends you keep your yard and your home free of flammable debris.
We talk about lean, clean, and green, keeping the tree branches pruned away from your home, keeping your gutters cleaned out, and keeping your yard well kept will help prevent that fire, hopefully, from coming up to your house and endangering your house.
Fire officials say many of the wildfires in our area are unintentionally started by people. So, Bob, is there any rain that will on our way to lessen the impact of the dry season?
No, I tell you, Alan, in reality, a very tough fire season already, and on top of that, the winds fan the flames. On top of that, the dry air around. Two factors that you don't want to have here, and we've had them over the last several days now. We are going to see a slight chance for showers by midweek, but not much. And then another chance comes late during the weekend, and even that is not all that strong. I mentioned the winds. It was a windy weekend and a windy Monday, too. The news is the winds out of the east and northeast, anywhere from 10 to 15 now. They've subsided somewhat, and that's going to be a trend. So not as strong of wind tomorrow. And that's good news for your golf game. Unless you're hitting into the wind, it's bad. If you're hitting with the wind, it's good. 71 degrees right now. Clear skies, dew point 46. Winds out of the east-southeast at 13. And the pressure now 30-28. That is high, and that continues to rise. Now, you can see what's happening here. We have a large area of high pressure, which continues to dominate much of the southeast right now. And this high pressure system is really responsible for the strong winds. The rotating winds around it in a clockwise fashion is allowing us to see those winds up to 20 to 30 miles an hour at times. And there's a storm system moving through Iowa, which is causing the pressure gradient to be really tight here, causing those strong winds. As the high pressure gets bumped out of here from that front, the winds will lessen tomorrow, so not nearly as strong. Dew point temperatures also not the best for fires, into the mid-40s right now. And that also allows that fire to spread if it were to start. So again, a high fire danger exists. We'll have more in our forecast to talk about some rain over the weekend.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, hear our voices. Some of our elected officials skipped town hall meetings during the congressional recess, but they're still hearing from their constituents who are holding regular protests. It's happening right here on the Suncoast and across the nation. The details when we return.
There's a whole new way to bank with Achieva Checking Plus. You get new features like full ID theft protection, and that's good to know. Discover all the benefits at achievacu.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you weeknights at 5.
We are going to build a great society where no man or woman or the victim of fear or poverty or hatred, where every man and woman has a chance for fulfillment and prosperity and hope.
Are you paying too much for your cable or satellite TV? The U.S. government passed a bill mandating free over-the-air digital transmission of all broadcast network television channels. That means with the new TV Freeway digital antenna, you can get free HD programming from your favorite broadcast networks 24/7 without a bill. You just plug it into the back of your TV and start watching all of your favorite broadcast programs for free. There are no contracts to sign, no hidden fees, and no monthly fees. Just free HD broadcast TV. Take it with you anywhere. Call or go online now to get your TV Freeway stick for the incredibly low price of only $14.99. But wait, call or click now and you can get a second TV Freeway stick for a second TV. Just pay a separate fee, but you have to order right now.
Call 1-800-809-5196 to get your TV Freeway. Call now or go to tvfreeway.com. So call 1-800-809-5196. This offer's not in any store. Call now.
An important message for Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you receiving all the benefits available to you? Now's the time to find the coverage that's right for you at the right price. The way to do that is to explore your options. You can spend hours doing that yourself, Or you can call Health Markets and let us do the legwork for you. Let us find you the right plan at the right price and see if you qualify to lower your prescription costs. Put our free service to work for you at no charge.
Call 1-800-738-1923.
There's a whole new way to bank with Achieva Checking Plus. You get new features like cell phone protection for 3 phones, plus an interest-bearing account. And that's good to know. Discover all the benefits at AchievaCU.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Across the country, Republican members of Congress have been confronted at town hall meetings by angry and loud crowds about issues ranging from the repeal of Obamacare, immigration, President Trump, and the Russians. Locally, Tom Rooney held a town hall just today, Charlie Crist last weekend. Gus Bilirakis has had 3, but not Vern Buchanan. Kate Flexter joins us with more. Kate.
Well, Alan, some call it a grassroots movement, others call it an AstroTurf movement. But the intent is clear. Protesters demanding elected officials listen to their concerns.
One by one, protesters filed into Congressman Vern Buchanan's Sarasota office, making their statement without saying a single word. A symbolic gesture, they say, because they feel their voices have been silenced.
We have been here weeks on end, delivering letters, speaking with his staff, and nothing has been heard.
We want to talk to Vern!
Other protesters more vocal.
I consider him missing in action.
Don't be a chicken. Show up.
But all with the same message, accusing Congressman Vern Buchanan of intentionally avoiding constituents by choosing not to hold a town hall meeting during congressional recess week, as is often tradition.
If we can't be heard, then what are we living in? It's not a democracy.
Buchanan is one of many elected officials nationwide that's feeling the heat. From missing posters to newspaper ads to milk cartons, constituents across the country say their elected officials are missing in action. Liberals using tactics similar to the Tea Party that grilled Democrats during the Obama administration, showing up in large numbers to town halls to push back against the new administration's policies. But some GOP leaders say the rowdy crowds could pose a security risk. Others saying those meetings are simply not productive. Senator Marco Rubio says he hasn't held any town halls or open forums for that very reason. His explanation captured on this cell phone video.
Do a town hall for us to hear your people? Not because town halls, people get rude and stupid on both sides. But you hear the people. I've heard the people.
Buchanan, on the other hand, is known for regularly holding town hall meetings. His spokeswoman tells us he was unable to hold a meeting during that time because he was in Afghanistan meeting with Florida troops. And Buchanan says he fully intends to hold a town hall meeting in the near future.
Since I've been serving, I do more town halls probably than any other member of Congress. I was out of town, otherwise I probably would have done a town hall by now, but we're going to have one in the near future. I know there's a lot of passion, so people have the right to express themselves, and I'm going to be there to listen.
Buchanan's former staffer, Republican State Committeeman Christian Ziegler, says he's always been an accessible congressman.
It's not only town halls, but he does teletown halls where he'll call people while he's in D.C., and he does Insta-polls and emails. So he's trying every effort he can to get feedback from constituents.
But Ziegler says the current conversation is far from productive.
And unfortunately, what the left is doing is they're just whining. They're in the way and they're whining. So it's time to remove them and really focus on governing and let the adults govern so we can get some stuff done in this country.
Former Democratic State Representative Keith Fitzgerald, who ran against Congressman Buchanan in 2012, says whining or not, listening to those with differing opinions is part of the job.
Very few human beings on the face of the earth get to be a member of Congress. One of the tough parts that comes with it is you have to meet your constituents even when they're unhappy. Show up and do your job.
Fitzgerald also likens today's movement to the Tea Party movement and admits Democratic representatives were as flustered by those passionate activists. But he says it's still crucial for all voices to be heard.
What they had to do was muster up the courage to weather that and to talk to these people and listen to these people. And that's exactly what's called for in this situation. And it is a matter of courage.
Buchanan's office tells us he plans to hold a town hall meeting in April during a congressional recess.
Okay, thank you. Coming up, one of Congressman Buchanan's former staffers, a protester, and a reporter who has been covering the town halls of local members of Congress. In a moment, we go to the trapezoid.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big, or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $10 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand with no surprises and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular received a J.D. Power Award for highest customer service. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 800-297-5313. Go to consumercellular.com or visit a Target or Sears store today.
Thinking about having surgery can be a scary thing. It takes somebody who's in severe pain, bring them in, take good care of them, and then get them out and back to their life is huge. We focus on minimally invasive approaches when possible, and oftentimes people can be back up on their feet in a day or two with a whole lot less pain than before surgery. We fix people's lives. We do.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse. Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 1-800-764-8708. That's 1-800-764-8708.
Welcome back. There is no place like home, usually. Many Republican members of Congress have been confronted by angry crowds during town hall meetings the last few weeks. In some heated exchanges, they've been pressed by those who don't want Obamacare repealed, immigration, and whether Congress will investigate the Trump campaign's possible ties to Russia. Locally, Newport Richey Congressman Gus Bilirakis has had 3 rowdy town halls. Former Republican Charlie Crist this weekend had a town hall that lasted 4 hours, almost as long as a Bruce Springsteen concert. Tom Rooney finally had a town hall today, but the Suncoast Vern Buchanan, who in the past has had regular town halls, has not had one since Donald Trump took office. Late last week, Buchanan said that he will hold one in April. And joining us for more is former Buchanan staffer Christian Ziegler, who is now the Republican State Committee man for Sarasota County, Steve Christophers of MoveOn.org, one of the groups pressing Buchanan to hold a town hall, and Mitch Perry from FloridaPolitics.com, who has probably covered more congressional town halls the last few weeks than anyone should have to. Christian, let me start with you, because as we have been saying up until now, Vern Buchanan has had more town halls than most members of Congress except for now. And I know he was in Afghanistan during the break, but still, you've had these scenes across the country that with those members who have not held town halls, some of them, they're putting up milk cartons saying missing on it. Right now, we are at a very sensitive point in time, and the congressman did not take this opportunity to talk to constituents.
Congressman Buchanan is one of the most accessible congressmen you'll ever find. I obviously worked for him for about 5 years in Congress, and the congressman is a machine when it comes to doing town halls, listening to constituents.
Except for
not
now.
only does, well, Alan, here's the problem is you look at the election was in November. Now here we're in February, March, now we're in March. And now all of a sudden the left is waking up and they're having this outcry and they're demanding that town halls be done on their time. Congressman Buchanan will do town halls. He'll continue to do town halls. I know they have one scheduled coming up. But in the past, I mean, if you look at his record, he's hosted over 74 town halls since he's been in Congress, probably more than any other congressman that you'll find. And when I worked for him, I'll tell you, behind the scenes, congressmen used to kind of laugh at him and say stuff, man, Vern, going back to do another town hall, because every single weekend he would do them.
Fair enough, Steve?
It is, except we need to have one now. Things are changing very fast. There's stuff coming out of the White House that people have never seen before. And we'd want to know, as his constituents, where the congressman stands on the issues. We went in the middle of February to check at his office here in Sarasota, and we were told that he wasn't going to be having one. And they didn't know what his schedule was and kind of got stonewalled. So we came back a week later. We put a thing on Facebook and on Move On. We had 52 people show up.
Mitch, compare that with, as we said, Gus Bilirakis,
Yeah.
Northern Pinellas County, has had 3. The first one, I remember, it was on a Saturday morning and CNN was covering it live. It was rowdy.
Yeah.
Have you found that some members in our area are less willing or less enthusiastic about holding these town halls right now?
Well, you know, Dennis Ross did have one. He had a kind of an outside area, the Polk County congressman. Kathy Castor hasn't really had a true, in my opinion, town hall meeting since 2009 when the Tea Party ransacked her event in the Children's Board.
It just so happens we have that meeting queued up. Why don't we take a look here? You know, Christian, that scene could be taking place right now in just about any congressional district in our area and across the country. What's the difference between the anger that Republicans and members of the Tea Party felt back in 2009 and Democrats and others feeling today?
Well, the clearest difference is back in 2009, 2010, the Tea Party came out and they were going after Republicans, right? It was our base coming after Republicans that they felt weren't standing up for their values. Now what you're having members of the left that are upset with the election results, and now we have a president coming in and they don't want to give him a break. They don't want to allow him to execute and deliver jobs and all his other plans that he's laid out, which really Americans agree with, as we can see with the election results. And that's all they're doing. So the directive that the left has is to obstruct, to block Trump, and this is one of their tactics to do it, and we're going to see it continue.
And I know you want to respond to that, and I want to let you, but we do have to take a commercial break. We just are getting started with our conversation of congressional town halls. It will continue in a minute, right after we check the weather.
If you've ever had a bad night's sleep, call and price the new Craftmatic Legacy. It has so much more than other adjustables and still costs up to 50% less, featuring a rising adjustable pillow rest to support your head, neck, and shoulders, bedside power plugs, under bed night lights, and more. So call and price one today for less, up to 50% less than Tempur-Pedic, Sleep Number, and other adjustables.
You get so much more and it still costs less. You've got to see how little they cost.
Call 1-800-774-8103. That's 1-800-774-8103. Call now.
Attention sleep apnea sufferers. If you use CPAP therapy, if you have private insurance, or you're on a Medicare replacement plan, we may be able to help you get your CPAP supplies at little or no cost to you and free shipping. Most insurance companies allow a patient to get a new CPAP mask, cushion, filter, and tubing every 3 to 6 months to prevent respiratory infection and skin sores.
That's why you should call AmeriCare CPAP. Call 800-423-5457. That's 800-423-5457.
But is it? It's really just the beginning, right? Have you written a book and want it published but don't know where to start? You're not alone. Page Publishing cuts through the confusion that most new authors face, like copyright protection, barcodes, printing, and digital uploading. We will get your book into bookstores now. We guide you through the publishing maze and help you distribute and sell your work in hard copy and ebook formats. That's right, we will digitize and place your book for sale on Amazon, Apple iBooks, and Google, offering it to millions. Don't waste another minute. Most publishers won't even look at new author submissions, but we're different. We review your book and provide you feedback in about a week. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, our team gets you into bookstores fast.
Call for your free author submission kit at 800-425-5308.
We'll have more on the controversy over town hall meetings coming up, but right now let's get a check on our forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. Last month we had a roundtable discussion about the red tide here along the Sun Coast and how devastating it has been at times. The news is, though, the Friday report comes out and there are no reds and no oranges around. That's a good sign as a result of a little bit offshore flow, too, over the weekend, making great beach weather. But we were in high and medium categories up and down west central Florida, especially near Inglewood and Venice. Those have since moved to low and very low categories up and down the coast now, and we'll see if that trend continues for less of the effects of red tide. But a beautiful day on the beaches today. Casey Key, this is actually Sarasota Bay from Van Wazel, showing fair skies today, and looks like it'll stay that way tomorrow. Now, wind gusts have been strong, but the news is we're going to start going down in the category beginning tomorrow. So not nearly as windy of a day on Tuesday. After a very windy weekend, things are going to calm down a bit, it looks like, on Tuesday and stay that way on Wednesday. The small craft advisories that had been in place for the coastal waters here have since expired. We have a few showers along the east coast on that strong easterly wind, and currently the temperature is still into the low 70s right now. The high today was 81 degrees. Our average is 75. The record, 88, set back in 1944. And the actual low this morning was pretty close to seasonal average at 57 degrees. As far as temperatures go across the state, well, we have 73 in Key West right now, 71 in Sarasota. Orlando at 67. Temperatures right near the water, right about what the water temperature is, 70 degrees, which is taken at the end of the Venice Pier. And Lake Placid now at 68 degrees. I mentioned those winds. They'll stay out of the east overnight, still a bit brisk at 15 miles an hour. And then by tomorrow late afternoon, they'll subside somewhat. And we'll go from 5 to 10, really, with gusts maybe as high as 15. So much less wind for us tomorrow. Hourly forecast looks good, too. High temperatures topping out to near 80 degrees, so about 5 degrees above average for Tuesday's highs. And you can see the clouds kind of rotating around this large area of high pressure. Here comes a cold front. Looks rather significant before it reaches Florida, and then it just kind of falls apart. And that's what we'll see happening on Wednesday, late Wednesday and Thursday. A slight chance for a few showers with that front, but not much change as far as temperatures go. East wind for boaters, 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be 2 to 3 feet. And tides upcoming for Sarasota Bay. Just had a high tide. Low tide will be at 3:38. Another high tide at 11:08. And then mostly fair and mild. East winds 5 to 10 overnight. 58 for your low tomorrow. Sunny, but breezy occasionally. Southeast winds at 10 to 15. As I said, not nearly as windy, and temperatures staying warm right through the next 7 days. Slight chance for Thursday showers, and then again on Sunday and Monday. We lose an hour as we spring forward 1 hour Saturday night, Sunday morning. Alan will be back with the panel right after this. Stick around.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
There's a whole new way to bank at Achieva Credit Union with Achieva Checking Plus. Get new unique features like full ID theft protection and online shopping rewards. Plus, it's an interest-bearing account, so you have a little extra for what really matters. Achieva Checking Plus isn't just an account for your money, it's for your life, including cell phone insurance. And that's good to know. Discover the plus at AchievaCU.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Attention small business owners. Penn Funding announces the easiest and fastest business funding program, the Platinum Business Account.
We needed cash fast. Business is good, but this is an emergency.
We needed some new equipment, and the banks wouldn't help us.
At Penn Funding, we like to say, yes, you're approved. With your Platinum Business Account, you could qualify for up to $50,000 or more. This amazing new business account funding program is so effective, you could have the cash you need in just days.
I called, spoke with an agent who pre-qualified us, and connected me.
Call now for your Platinum Business Account. If you've been in business for at least 6 months, you could qualify for up to $50,000 or more in just days.
I called Penn Funding and had my money fast.
Need cash for your business? Call Penn Funding now.
Call 800-658-3433. 800-658-3433.
Are you considering joint replacement or revision surgery? Consider this. Dr. Edward Stolarski has performed thousands of successful joint replacement procedures and trained surgeons from all over the world. Using advanced technologies, Dr. Stolarski is able to perform some of the most complex surgeries.
I wish I knew about Dr. Stolarski much sooner.
After the surgery, I don't have any pain. It's like I've got a 16-year-old hip.
My name's Ed Stolarski. What I really do is I give people back their life.
Schedule a consultation today.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are discussing congressional town halls. Some members are getting an earful from constituents, while others are avoiding town halls altogether. Our guests tonight are Republican State Committee man Christian Ziegler, Steve Christophers of MoveOn.org, and Mitch Perry, a reporter for FloridaPolitics.com. And Steve, I want to give you an opportunity to respond to Christian there, who said, actually in our setup stories, that Democrats are just whining right now, and it's time to remove them and really focus on governing and let the adults govern so we could get some stuff done.
Well, it's a pretty easy shot to take. One would assume that it's just Democrats and they're just whining. 45% of the people on the ACA here in Sarasota, however, are Democrats. The other 55% are Republicans. We got 44,000 people in Sarasota County who are on ACA, and they're interested in wanting to know where is it going to go and what are they going to do. You see Trump attacking the press. We see environmental safeguards going off. These things are all across parties, and most of the people who come to our meetings, and we've had several hundred people, we're not asking their party, but many of them say, hey, I'm an independent. I've never done this before, but I'm worried.
Christian, I'll let you respond, but first let me ask you this, Mitch, because I have heard people discuss that Republicans would be smart not to fall into the same trap that Democrats did back in 2009 in terms of underestimating the passion and the discontent with what is happening.
I think we're seeing or hearing that Republicans are very aware of this, that they're not taking it for granted or thinking that it's just pure Now, some are. You hear some comments saying it's just, Democrats who are all wound up. These people will not vote for us anyway. But I think the energy is just like it was 8 years ago, and we saw what happened in 2010. It's way too early. There's a lot of obviously comparisons. You said it earlier in the show to the Tea Party. It is like the Tea Party in terms of the energy, but that's all it is right now. Of course, we have to wait and see what happens if that turns out in an electoral faction way in 2018. I think if the election were next month, I think the Democrats would do very well because there's a lot of, there is a lot of unhappiness and concern about the Trump administration and Republicans taking over, and Democrats realizing they blew the opportunity last fall.
Christian, you said a little while ago Democrats should be giving Donald Trump a chance, but when we're talking about the repeal of the Affordable Health Care Act or people who are not happy about the EPA or concerned about the Russians, do you acknowledge, you may not agree with them, but these are honestly held feelings that some people have that disagree with the administration and what Congress is or is not doing?
Well, they are, because for years you have members of the left and even some, moderates, if you will, that have put individuals on government programs to make them dependent on government, so then they turn around and end up voting for Democrats. Now, Donald Trump comes out of left field, runs for president, and he's pretty clear on what he was going to do. He laid it out there. I'm going to repeal Obamacare. I'm going to, deport criminal illegals. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to cut regulation. I'm going to cut these environmental regulations that are hurting business. He laid it all out. He's getting in office, and guess what? When he laid it all out, the American people, they approved it. They elected Donald Trump. Now he's in office. He's executing on that plan. And what we're seeing are members of the left, and also some Republicans are freaking out that are establishment, career politician Republicans, saying, what is this guy doing? He's shaking up Washington because they're not used to it. Usually people come in and they just toe the line.
Steve, is it as simple as that? Because what people are wondering about right now is that whether the passion that you are seeing at these town hall meetings, if that is sustainable over the long run.
I believe it is. I think this is a marathon and not a sprint. We're going to be at this for a while, and we're in it for the long haul. 74% of Americans think that Trump should release his tax returns, but he hasn't been pressured to do that at all.
Interesting at these town hall meetings, Republicans are being put on the spot about that, and several of them have been saying, yeah, I think he should do it.
Matt Gaetz. I don't know if a human being can be more conservative than Matt Gaetz. He is a congressman from the Panhandle, and he said at his town hall meeting, which was also pretty rowdy, that he believes that Trump should release his tax returns.
Again, Alan, this is an issue that was discussed thoroughly through the campaign.
It was discussed.
And it was discussed, absolutely. And the American people went to the ballot box with that on their mind. That was a portion of their decision they took into consideration, and they elected Donald Trump. The problem is you have the left talking about tax returns and talking about all these other policies.
More people voted for the other person.
I get it, but you have big liberal states out in California that, obviously skew that vote. But what you have are the members of the left. They're focused on tax returns. They're focused on attacking Donald Trump personally. Meanwhile, he's executing on issues that got him elected, issues that everyday Americans care about, which is specifically jobs, but also criminal illegals, getting rid of them, our national security issues, and all the other issues that he's pushing through, while you guys are talking about tax returns that really...
But I think, again, the animating drive of these town halls is the Affordable Care Act, and that being possibly taken away. And I think just like it was something that Democrats, in retrospect, a lot of Democrats said maybe Barack Obama shouldn't have done it this way, or, he shouldn't have put all that energy the first 2 years. He did. We have it. We have Obamacare, which, I'm on it. There are definitely some issues with that. But nevertheless, the Republicans are owning it, and the plan I think just came out tonight. Actually, it's the Paul Ryan House plan. It's such an enormous issue and problem. I don't know how they're going to finesse this around. And again, it's energy, what we haven't seen for decades from liberals in this case.
But Steve, let me ask you this, because as Mitch said, there is an incredible and impressive amount of energy at these town hall meetings or the protests in front of Vern's office when he is not there. But the question is, what comes of that? Because both in Sarasota and Manatee County, in terms of registered voters, Democrats are at a significant disadvantage. So what good is all this passion if you don't have the ability to vote the guy out if you wanted to?
Well, for one thing, a lot of the people who have been coming to our meetings have been independents, and they're energized, and they're concerned that they're not going to be getting the care that they want from Vern Buchanan, that he's not voting in their line of sight. He's not carrying what they want forward, and they want to talk to him about it. We don't have people who have said, I've been a Democrat forever and I really hate this guy. That's not what we're seeing. We're seeing people saying, what's going on with my health care? What's going on with immigration? What's going on with the taxes and the Russians? And they want to know why the administration is so tied up in these things. And it crosses party lines.
Christian, is that a legitimate reason to be concerned that if you do have independents who are also concerned about losing the health care insurance or the other things, that when it comes to voter registration, you put independents together with Democrats and they will outnumber Republicans?
Donald Trump won because he got moderates and he got independents and he even got some soft Democrats.
I mean,
that was like 3 months ago, Alan. I mean, this isn't like 5 years ago.
But should Obamacare be repealed?
Absolutely.
And you have a lot of people on the Suncoast losing their health insurance. Are you concerned things could change?
No, because this is why Donald Trump was elected. This is what mobilized people to back him. And this is the problem with government programs, is you make people dependent on a government program, and then when you go to edit it or you go to repeal it and you go to eliminate it, it causes mass frustration on the left that loves those government benefits.
That's right.
We're lucky we're addressing it now, because I'll tell you what would be even more chaos if we keep these programs in place and then we can't afford them, and then we got to start taking out Social Security, and we got to take out these other programs because the government can't afford it. That would be chaos.
Well, so do you really think he won because the people liked him, or do you think it was because they just didn't like Hillary?
Donald Trump? I
don't think he won on his
Actually,
own.
I'll tell you, it's neither. They elected Donald Trump because he laid out a plan that they agreed with, getting out of TPP, bringing jobs back to America, and American first.
Yeah, less than
because
I
just want to say, Christian is on to something when he says that, in terms of when you give people rights, people don't want it taken away. When Social Security, Medicare came out in the 60s, that was, mostly a Johnson initiative, but by the time it actually passed, Republicans bought into it. As we know, Republicans never bought into the ACA, but now they're feeling the pain of when you do try to take away a government program that people actually do like.
And Steve, the last word.
Well, I just want to say you can't really just blame this on Democrats being upset. It crosses all borders, and people are upset because they're not getting the government they thought they were going to get.
All right, let's take a quick break, and when we return, we'll have final thoughts from our guests, plus what some of our viewers are saying about President Trump's revised travel ban.
Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
Are you Goodwill?
Yes, because when I donate
or shop at Goodwill,
I'm creating a job.
I am Goodwill, yeah.
Attention blood clot filter patients. Surgically implanted blood clot filters are potentially life-threatening. Some filters are prone to breaking, resulting in pieces of the filter moving through the body and causing internal bleeding. If you had surgery to implant a blood clot filter, you may be entitled to a cash award, even if you haven't suffered side effects yet. Call the Gold Shield Group now, 888-747-5291, to see if you qualify for a cash award, 888-747-5291.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on the pedal. You get a clean mop head that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
I heard about the Detoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Detoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
Welcome back. Just how important is it to hold a town hall, and could there be repercussions for elected officials who don't have one? Our guests join us right now for final thoughts. We know that Vernon is going to have one in April, but is there a danger if he pulls back in terms of the numbers that he has because of what we have seen around Florida and around the country?
He's not going to pull back. I've even talked to Congressman Buchanan about this. Not only does he do town halls, again, he's done 74 town halls since he's been in office. 74. I actually worked for him. And part of the reason why I wanted to leave was every Saturday we were doing a town hall, which took up really the whole day. And so the guy's a machine. He does teletown halls on Mondays where he'll call 50,000 people in the congressional district. They can ask him questions. He does Insta polls almost every day on major issues. And when you reply back to those emails, he actually reads them as well.
Steve, what plans are you and your organization making for when Vern Buchanan does have a town hall in April?
When Vern comes and has his town hall in April, we're going to be respectful. We want our questions answered, and we're going to stand up and ask tough questions, and we expect Vern to give us honest answers. He's got time to come down here and have a meeting with the Argus Foundation in March, and we're still being held off to April before we get to talk to him.
Mitch, in places like Sarasota, Manatee County, and other deeply red counties around Florida, is there potential for a political price to pay if members of Congress don't hold
I'm not really sure. I think Vern Buchanan is relatively safe, and I think he actually does, do these town halls, as Christian says. Now, look, in our television region here, Charlie Crist is in the most competitive congressional district in CD13 in Pinellas County. He had one on Saturday that I went to that went 4 hours, as you mentioned earlier.
Springsteen-like.
As I wrote, yes. And the fact was that he has to do that, though, because he is in a competitive district, and if he didn't do it, look, I went to an event the week before. It was a small gathering in South St. Pete where some liberals are the ones saying, what's your stance to the ACA? And he says, I'm for it. He says, okay, we don't see it on your website. I mean, liberals were pushing him, actually. So that is where the energy is at. So he only won that seat by 3.5 points over David Jolly 4 months ago. Jolly may run again. So he has to be, out there doing these things. And he did on Saturday.
Okay. Before we go, we want to share with you what some of our viewers are saying about President Trump's new travel ban. Today, the president quietly signed a new ban. This one blocks immigration from 6 majority Muslim nations. Iraq is not included this time. This version does not have an indefinite ban on Syrian refugees either. Here's what some of you are saying. Tony Thomas writes, "Keep America safe." Mike Hood writes, "I have an idea. Let's sign some awful, useless law so people can stop talking about all the Russian connections." And Kenny Scott writes, "Let's ban all Middle Eastern countries, including Turkey and especially Saudi Arabia." What do you think about congressional town halls? Anything you want to tell your elected official? Just let us know by visiting our Facebook page at facebook.com/. YouTube.com/news@7. And want to watch past roundtable discussions? They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. Thanks to our guests for being here tonight. Christian Ziegler is a Republican state committee man for Sarasota. He served as a staffer for Congressman Buchanan. Steve Christopher is with MoveOn.org, and Mitch Perry is a reporter for FloridaPolitics.com and had a very long trip driving down here today. Mitch, thank you. When we return, we'll have a final look at your weather. Plus, unsubstantiated President Trump continues to stand by his claim that President Obama tapped. There are two P's in tapped. The phones in Trump Tower. We'll have the latest details in our primetime headlines.
There's a whole new way to bank with Achieva Checking Plus. You get new features like full ID theft protection, and that's good to know. Discover all the benefits at AchievaCU.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
We are going to build a great society where no man or woman are the victim of fear or poverty or hatred, where every man and woman has a chance for fulfillment and prosperity and hope.
There's a whole new way to bank with Achieva Checking Plus. You get new features like cell phone protection for 3 phones, plus an interest-bearing account. And that's good to know. Discover all the benefits at AchievaCU.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but right now let's get a final check on our weather from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Alan, a beautiful evening. We had a nice day, too, out on the waters. Today, a little bit rough going, but better tomorrow as the small craft advisory has since expired. And you may see a bright star, if you will, in the western sky. That is Venus, actually planet Venus. It looks like a star, but nonetheless, 60 on the air quality index, which puts it in the moderate category right now. And it looks like that is going to improve tomorrow. We've had a strong easterly wind all weekend long and today. That is about to change, though. Our winds will let up a little bit tomorrow and even more so on Wednesday. 71. Currently, it's still pretty warm out there. Dew point is low at 46 degrees, and the winds out of the east-southeast at 13, so those are starting to come down as gusts were today as high as 30 miles an hour. The high today, 81 degrees, and 75 is our average, so we were well above that. We'll see highs again tomorrow right around 80 degrees. Weather headlines read like this. Look for less wind on Tuesday, staying warm, though. And a weak cold front moves in on Thursday, late the Wednesday and into Thursday morning, bringing with it a very slight chance for an isolated shower or two. That'll be inland mainly, and it'll push off toward the east coast. Highs tomorrow, as I mentioned, warming up to 80 degrees for the most part. Beaches may see a high right around 77 degrees. Well, the RPM forecast model showing some clouds along the east coast. Chance for a few showers there. Here comes a cold front. Notice by 2 p.m. Wednesday, 2:30 or so, it weakens as it pushes off toward the southeast. Slight chance for a few inland showers come late Wednesday and into early Thursday. Big contrast in temperatures right now. Look at this. Denver at 34, Kansas City at 74, Minot at 17. There is a strong cold front and severe weather breaking out across parts of the Plain States, stretching up into Iowa. There are numerous tornado watches out and severe thunderstorm warnings. Look at all the tornado warnings right now that are in place into Kansas. They've already had a couple of reported tornadoes there along Interstate 70. We have a tornado warning now in place, a couple of those in the eastern portions of Kansas now. For boaters tomorrow, the winds will lessen somewhat, 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be 2 to 3 feet. with a light to moderate chop on the bays and in the waters. Water temperature now at 70 degrees. And tides upcoming. Low tide will be at 3:38 and a high at 11:08 tomorrow morning. Mostly fair and mild tonight, 58 for your low. Tomorrow, look for breezy conditions at times, but generally less windy and mostly sunny. A high of 80 should be a delightful day. The extended forecast calling for a chance for showers mainly inland on late Wednesday and into Thursday. And then the weekend looking pretty good, although Sunday increasing clouds and a chance for showers. Al will be back with primetime headlines right after this. Stick around.
The official salon of ABC7. Cutting loose salon.
If you've ever had a bad night's sleep, call and price the new Craftmatic Legacy. It has so much more than other adjustables and still costs up to 50% less. Featuring a rising adjustable pillow rest to support your head, neck, and shoulders, bedside power plugs, under-bed night lights, and more. So call and price one today for less, up to 50% less than Tempur-Pedic, Sleep Number, and other adjustables.
You get so much more and it still costs less. You've got to see how little they cost.
Call 1-800-774-8103. That's 1-800-774-8103. Call now.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need
the Debt Ninja. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, you could be facing wage garnishments, levies, liens, property seizure, cancellation of business license, closure of business. The Debt Ninja fights your IRS debt. That's why you need the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja has found the best companies in the country who are on your side to fight debt. Want to learn if you qualify for the IRS Financial Hardship Program? Stop the IRS from garnishing your wages. Even if your bank account has been seized, if you have undeclared taxes, if you have existing IRS debt, it's not too late to call, so grab your phone now. Call the Debt Ninja at 800-945-0083. That's 800-945-0083. Settle your IRS debt to get the power of the Debt Ninja. Dial this number now, 800-945-0083.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
Now for your primetime headlines. He vowed to defend his travel ban in court. Now President Trump is throwing out the original and signing a new one. The new ban takes effect in 10 days, suspending travel from 6 Muslim-majority countries. ABC's Janae Norman has the latest from Washington.
President Trump vowed to take the fight over his first travel ban to the Supreme Court, but ultimately decided to revoke that order, and today, behind closed doors, signed his new executive order that takes effect March 16th.
While no system can be made completely infallible, the American people can have high confidence. We are identifying ways to improve the vetting process and thus keep terrorists from entering our country.
So what's new? For starters, Syrian refugees are no longer singled out with an indefinite ban. The order no longer makes exceptions for religious minorities, and it explicitly does not impact dual citizens and those with valid U.S. visas. But the new order suspends the entire refugee program for 4 months. And while Iraq has been removed from the list, there are still 6 majority Muslim countries where travel to the U.S. is banned for 90 days. The Attorney General says there's good reason to block foreign nationals from Sudan, Syria, Iran, Libya, Somalia, and Yemen.
3 of these nations are state sponsors of terrorism. The other 3 have served as safe havens for terrorist countries where governments have lost control of their territory to terrorist groups like ISIL or Al-Qaeda and its affiliates.
Still, critics say the order does nothing to improve national security.
Is still mean-spirited, misguided, and in my judgment, goes against what America's all about.
The Washington State Attorney General, whose lawsuit brought down the first travel ban, says his team is reviewing this new executive order and considering the next steps. Janae Norman, ABC News, Washington.
President Trump continues to stand by his claim that President Obama wiretapped phones at Trump Tower during the campaign. Trump has yet to offer any proof. FBI Director James Comey is now calling on the Justice Department to refute the claim. Administration officials want Congress to launch an investigation.
All we're asking is that we let Congress do its job. Let's let the House Intelligence Committee review this, investigate it, as they committed to do over the weekend.
President Obama denies the allegations. Florida Supreme Court is hearing arguments on the constitutional amendment to automatically restore the voting rights of many felons. The ballot initiative is being backed by Floridians for Fair Democracy. Currently, nonviolent offenders are able to apply for voting rights 5 years after completing their sentences. More serious offenders are required to wait 7 years. Supporters of the amendment say since politicians won't change the law, voters need to.
This is rooted in fairness. You know, once a person has served their time, have paid their debt to society, that they should be given that opportunity to have their voices heard.
If the court approves the ballot wording, it will be on the ballot in 2018. If passed, nearly 2 million felons could gain the right to vote. A group of Florida legislators is trying to fight racial bias in the state's prison sentencing system. Bills are being filed today requiring sentencing data to be gathered each year. The information would be given to judges across the state. According to the bill's sponsors, 48% of all prisoners in Florida are black, while the overall African-American population is 16%. Meanwhile, Florida House Speaker Richard Corcoran is taking the Florida lottery to court. Corcoran is suing the state's lottery secretary, arguing a $700 million contract with IGT Global Solutions exceeded the authorized budget for the Florida lottery. Attorneys representing the lottery say the contract is contingent on state funding and therefore is legal. Corcoran is facing backlash from Governor Rick Scott over the suit. The two are also clashing over funding the state's tourism marketing agencies. The head of one of those agencies, Enterprise Florida, is announcing his resignation today. Chris Hart is stepping down after only 2 months on the job. He cites the ongoing conflict with the governor over the future of the marketing company. This comes as Speaker Corcoran is pushing legislation to strip the organization of all state funding. The bill remains in committee but could reach the House floor this week. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.